So hopefully everyone can hear. And like I said, try refreshing your screen or clicking the three dots down in the bottom right corner by the leave button. You can change your bandwidth, and that can sometimes help as well. So we are going to go over some information today. Just to continue on, this will be our last live class instruction at 8:50 this week. So just want to let you know that, and I'll talk more about that at the end of class. For today, what we want to go over is we're going to discuss a little bit about digital citizenship, and this refers to the responsible use of technology. So for anyone who uses a computer, the internet, and digital devices to engage on any type of social level. And bear with me, I'm just going to reply so I can see if I will try that out. So with us being a virtual school, it is highly important that you're aware of digital citizenship and your digital footprint. This is data that's going to be everywhere. No matter what kind of information you put out there, things you do, anything electronically is still going to be out there. You may have tried to Google yourself, see what kind of things come up. There could be something that's helpful. There could be things that are harmful. So we just want you to be aware of how you present yourself and how you handle yourself while using anything electronically online. So this is going to include websites that you visit, any emails that you send, in live classes as this, contributing in the chat box. Make sure that you're representing yourself in the best level that you can. If there's something that's going on, maybe in the room chat, and maybe it's not so nice. Maybe we've got some students making fun of somebody else or off topic about something. Should you engage? Probably not, especially if it's harmful and if it's not helpful to the class or the instruction that's going on. So we always want you to think before you post things online. Again, that can be whether you're on a website looking up information, you're sending an email. Think about it first before you do that. So over here, just 10 things to know about your digital footprint. When you search on the internet, there's always a trail of information. Even if you clear it, there's a trail somewhere out there. So think about that. When you search or share information, there's always a trail somewhere. Digital footprints can be helpful or harmful. So you just want to think about that stuff before you do things. So once things are online, they exist forever. Again, even if they're deleted, it's out there somewhere in some type of virtual cloud. So always think before you post online. Personal information and opinions sent to anyone could be shared with somebody else. So you may share something in private, maybe with another student, that could be shared out on a larger platform. So we want you to be aware of that as well. Googling yourself can be worthwhile. You may not find anything. You may find that you have a Facebook account or Snapchat or TikTok. Know that when you have accounts, even if you disable or delete them, again, they're still out there somewhere. Keep personal details private. Depending on any site that you're on, make sure that you're not giving out your specific address, exactly where you live, how old you are, your date of birth, what school you go to. Things like this, put out there, they're going to be out there. And you don't want to have that. So you want to make sure that you keep things as private as you can when you share things and do things online. So just be mindful of this and be mindful of other people. Examples of sharing photos, sharing information. If you want to share something out, for example, my oldest daughter had prom almost 2 weeks ago, and we took pictures with her and her boyfriend, my niece and her boyfriend, and then a friend and his date. And I don't know the friend and the date very well. I've just met them for the first time at that event. And so I had pictures of just our daughter and boyfriend, and then my niece and the group of 4 of them. And then I did have a picture where there was all 6 of them together. And since I don't know the friend and the date and haven't really interacted with the parents, I didn't post anything that had their kids on there. I shared out only my children and my niece because I know that it's allowed and it's acceptable. So definitely be mindful of things like that as well. Don't share information unless you have permission from somebody else, especially if it's not your information to share. So definitely think about that as well. Even with school, don't share something in the chat about somebody else unless you have permission and if it's appropriate at the time. So digital reputation is the digital footprint created by all things that you say or do online, as well as what others post about you. So not only are you putting your digital footprint out there, others could be sharing a digital footprint that is related to you as well. So again, think about those things before you share out, especially if you wouldn't want others sharing information out or photos, anything like that. Think about that on the flip side. So maybe Google yourself, not right now, but maybe do it later if you've never done if you haven't ever done that before. So here at WEVA, because we are an online virtual public school, we do have a policy for network etiquette or netiquette. This refers to the guidelines for conversating and acting and being online. So we want you guys to be aware of this, especially during classroom chats. Refrain from sarcasm and jargon and slang. Definitely keep it school appropriate. We definitely don't like swear words on the mic or in the room chat. We don't like any derogatory comments, that could be regarding race, age, gender, sexuality, religion, political views. So we want to make sure that you're thinking before you post information, you say anything, you do stuff. So definitely be respectful and responsible. So again, think before you do. So is it true? Is it helpful? Is it inspirational? Is it necessary? Is it kind? So definitely think about those. Respect yourself, respect others. So don't broadcast again, discussions, never reveal anybody's information. The other thing that I can say is that if you become friends with somebody else in a classroom and you want to share contact information, we don't want you throwing that in the room chat and sharing your phone number or sharing your Snapchat or Facebook user stuff. What we have to do to keep you guys safe and private is if you would like to share information in order to connect with somebody outside of classes, you can talk with your homeroom teacher, your mentor, let them know that, hey, I want to connect with so-and-so wants to connect with me. We need to get your learning coach or your legal guardian's approval first that we could share the information for you. So then that way we would be able to share Susie's contact, her phone number and maybe her Snapchat in an email message to you after it's approved. So that's just something to be aware of as well moving forward, because you're going to get to where you might become friends with somebody in a class and you guys really want to chit chat and you want to conversate outside of the school day, which is great. But we don't want you sharing your private information in this room chat, just to make sure that you guys are being safe and that we're following those rules. Okay. So again, just going back, you're going to see these student commitments all throughout the school year in classes. It's going to be brought up regularly, weekly in homerooms. Because we are a virtual public school, we are just like school in person, except you get to do it from your computer at home or if you're on a beautiful beach somewhere. So you have to log in every single day and that means logging into the OLS and attending your live classes. That's where you're walking through that classroom door, you're sitting in your seat, you're following along with instruction. Then you're going through passing period to your next class, unless you've got a nice study hall break in between, and that's time for homework. You always want to check your calendar, attend all of those live required classes, and you want to access your course modules tab because that's going to be your textbook information. That's where teacher notes are going to be, any additional resources that they want to share, and that's how you'll access your assignments. So that way you know that you're getting everything that you need possible to be successful in completing that assignment. Being virtual, we highly rely on email. So that's where you have that inbox tab on the landing navigation page. That, remember, is only a course messaging system. So that's going to be if I want to meet with you later in the day and we've got something set up, I'm just sending you a reminder about our meeting. To get to your actual school email, you do have to click on resources, school email, and then that's going to open up your Outlook email in a new web browser tab. I highly recommend you bookmark that so that you can open that up every day. There is also the Outlook email app within, it should be built into the school laptop. You could also have that pinned to your taskbar and signed in that way to have it open every day as well. But the hugest thing that we tell students is ask for help when you need something, if you're struggling with something, because we aren't with you face to face in person every day. If you're not using your camera in class, if you're not really interacting, we don't know if you're struggling. So make sure that you're reaching out, make sure you're connecting with your learning coach every week, make sure you're staying on top of grades, discussing those. So again, you're going to see these commitments all throughout the school year on repeat, almost probably weekly. So for today, what I want to do, because you will be working on module 5 today, it's going to have a Word document assignment in there. So I want to walk through the steps of completing that. So I am going to go through on the PowerPoint first, showing how you access things, but then I am going to go through and actually show you through screen share how to do things. So again, using your courses tab and then going to modules, this is your classroom textbook. This is how you're going to get all the information that you need outside of the live class instruction. So once it's homework time, I'm going to click into my class. I'm going to click on modules. For this example, this is a part of module 5, and this is a Word document. You do have a quiz at the beginning of module 5, but I want to show you how to do like a graded teacher assignment that actually has a document you have to download. So once I'm in modules, I'm going to access my assignment for today. I open it up. I'm reading the details first. So it's telling me to download the assignment listed below, read the instructions, complete it, and upload it here. So you're going to see that the assignment is linked in there. You have 2 ways that you can download this. The first way is what I recommend is automatically clicking that blue arrow download right next to the words, because this is automatically just going to download it into your download pop-up. However, you can click on the actual document, the blue words. When you do that, you will stay within the web browser and it's going to pull up what the document looks like. You're going to have a black banner bar. You're going to have to click download again. So you're going to have to do 2 clicks to get it to pop up. If you just click the arrow down next to the document, it's just going to automatically pop it up so that you can click on it and open it up in Microsoft Word. So once your assignment is opened up, you will always get to where you have this like yellow cream color bar. You need to click enable editing. You have to click enable editing for it to make you a copy of the teacher's original document so that you can type and complete it. If you don't click enable editing, it's not going to let you type on the document. So once you go through and you complete your assignment, I'm done answering my questions. I want to save this, and I'm going to save it in my class folder, and I'm going to rename it once before I save it so that I know this is the completed document that I am turning in for my grade. So again, I'm going to walk through these steps in a minute to screen share. I just want to show you right now that when you're done completing an assignment, you're going to go up and click on the word file. Then you're going to go click on save as. Once you click on save as, it's going to open up your file explorer. What I highly recommend is clicking on browse. So then that way it takes you to your directory on the left-hand side. You need to make sure that depending on where you saved your class folders, whether you saved it in desktop or in documents, you need to click the correct directory tab. So for this instance, I saved my orientation folder in my desktop. So I click desktop first. You're going to notice up here on the pathway that I'm in my desktop. Now I'm going to select my orientation folder, and I'm going to double click on the folder because then it's going to take me into the folder. Again, I'm going to just make sure that I'm in the correct folder because it says desktop. This is actually my first assignment that I'm saving in my orientation class folder, so it's going to be blank. I don't have anything in here. However, if I had already saved completed assignments for this class in there, you're going to see those listed down below. So it, again, is going to trigger you that you're in the right class folder. Once I'm in my folder, the file name is right down here. I want to make sure that I am renaming my file to say, like for this example, it would be about me, Tara Helmer. I'm not going to change the file type because that needs to stay as a Word document. Then I'm going to click save, and it's going to save my completed Word document within my orientation folder. And then I will go back and show you how to upload. So right now I am just going to go through and I'll show you step by step again how you would do this from your end. So let me click on that. All right, so again, homework time. I want to go complete my module 5. So I'm going into the orientation class. Modules is your textbook. So the course modules tab is your textbook. And then today is Wednesday. I'm working on module 5. I've looked at how the file for like submitting assignments and assessments. I've already looked at the class PDF notes because I'm sitting in the live class, but I wanted to refresh my memory. So I clicked on that. I completed my orientation quiz. That's done now. So now I'm working on the About Me assignment. So I click into that, and I'm actually going to change this view for you. So I'm in my About Me assignment. I need to download the assignment listed below, read the instructions, complete it, then save the assignment to your documents and upload it here. Again, I can either click on the word. When I click on the word, it's just going to open up again what the Word document looks like, and then I have to click download. Know that if you click download like this, you'll get that pop-up box, which is great. So then I open the assignment to complete it. When I come back to the screen, however, I do have to click close in order to get back to the assignment screen that I can upload my assignment. So what I highly recommend is just clicking that arrow down button right next to it. Then that way it just automatically downloads and I don't have to do another click and close something. So you have 2 different ways that you can download it. Just to be aware, I don't have that enable editing yellow banner because I'm not a student. Plus I'm the owner of this document, so it just automatically opened up for me. But for you as a student, you will have the enable editing that you have to click on. You need to also make sure you are signed in to Microsoft Word with your school email address. So if you're not signed in with your school email address in Word, make sure that you do that. But otherwise, if you got this done the other day, it should automatically be saved. So now I'm going to be able to complete my document. So it's just telling me to complete the steps for practicing how to complete a Word assignment. introducing myself. So I'm just going to go through and answer. So number 1, what name do you prefer to be called? I'm just going to say Tara. What city are you from? I am from the Orfordville countryside because I don't live in town. What is one thing you enjoy doing during your free time? I enjoy baking, crafting. My family and I love camping and riding our 4-wheelers and our UTV. So I'm just putting that in there. And then for number 4, this says at the top of the screen, click on Insert, then click on Pictures, and then Stock Images, and insert a picture. So I'm going to go to Insert. I'm going to click on Pictures. I'm going to click on Stock Images. If stock images, depending if you're using the school computer or a personal computer, if the stock images doesn't work properly, you can just get an online picture to insert, just as long as you know how to insert a picture. We're just making sure you know how to use the system. So for this, I would type in, let's do camping, if I can type today. So camping, I'm just going to choose the marshmallow picture. It's going to give me the check mark, and then that insert is going to turn blue. I'm going to insert it into my document, and majority of the time, your picture or anything that you insert or paste might be bigger. So I just highly recommend you take a corner bubble, shrink it down a little bit, because then that way it'll just minimize how many pages you have. Now I'm done with my document completely. So what I want to do is save it. So I'm going up to the word File. I'm going to go to Save As. And then I want to click on Browse. So that folder, Browse, because I want to go to my orientation folder to save it. So on the left side, again, this is the directory. I want to go up and I'm going to click on Desktop, because that's where I saved my orientation folder. Now I'm going to double click into my orientation folder. I know that I'm in that because I'm looking at the pathway on top that says Desktop Orientation. I've completed assignments for this class before, so I know that these are the orientation assignments I've already done. Now I need to make sure that I'm going down and I'm renaming my file. So I'm going to rename it About Me. And for this, I'm going to put T. Helmer, only because I've saved it a bunch of times. So I just changed the name. So About Me, first and last name. I'm not changing the file type. I keep it as the original file was. And then I'm going and saving. So once I click Save, now I know it's saved and it's renamed, because up on top, I can see it says About Me, Tara Helmer. I'm done with this. So now that it's saved, I can close off of Microsoft Word, because I don't want this open when I'm attaching it. So I close it. Then I come back to, my K-12 OLS, my courses. I'm still on the assignment that I was working on. So now I want to go down and I'm going to upload it. I don't know why we have this upload button. I haven't figured it out because it doesn't actually work for me. You need to use the rocket ship in order to attach a file. So I'm going to click on that. It will open my File Explorer. So first thing I need to do is go to the directory on the left, because I need to make sure I'm going to the correct spot that I saved it. So I know that my orientation folder is on my desktop. I'm going to double click into my orientation folder. And then I'm going to look for that completed file, which was About Me, T. Helmer. I'll click on it, and then I'm going to click Open. That is going to give me a green check mark so that I know that that's attached. And then I go and click Submit Assignment down below. Most of the time, you will be able to see your uploaded document right here, so that you have a preview of your assignment and you can verify, yep, I uploaded the correct document because it's got my, answers on it. In the event that you accidentally upload a blank document or the wrong file, if you have to go back to make sure that you upload the completed file, the correct one. When you come back into an assignment, in order to get the rocket ship to upload a different document, you do have to click new attempt. So I just want you to be aware of that in case, moving forward, you accidentally upload the wrong document. You got to go back. In order to get that rocket ship, again, you've got to click new attempt for you to go back to choose a different file. Once you attach the correct file, again, you'll click submit assignment. So just be aware of that, okay? Then let's see what else I've got going on here. So now that I've completed my assignment, I turned it in. I eventually, I want to go back and I want to check what grade I got on my assignment. This again is going to be very helpful for you to check on a daily basis, checking your grades tab within your course. Looking at my grades, I want to go see what did I get on my assignment I just turned in. So say I turned in a blank document. That's where I'm going to see I didn't get any points, or I got maybe a point, and then I'm going to see teacher feedback over here. And it's going to tell me, hey, I noticed that your answers aren't on the document. You might have uploaded the wrong document. Can you go back and check your files and upload the completed one? This is where it's going to trigger me that, hey, I uploaded the wrong thing. I need to go back. And then I'm going to go back into that assignment, find my correct file, and resubmit it. Maybe I did great on it. Teacher might leave feedback that, hey, this is awesome. I really appreciate your feedback. It could be you just have a grade. You did well on the assignment. You move on. Say I was sick and I was out and I watched the class recording, but maybe I wasn't still feeling well. So I didn't get to complete my homework and it's now overdue. This is where it's going to trigger me. It's missing. So then that way I know I've got a missing assignment that I didn't complete. I need to go and do that. So you can click directly on the assignment name in the grade book, and that will take you directly to the assignment. But remember, if you need any notes, information before that assignment, the best way to access it is clicking on the modules tab so that you can go to that week. And then you can go in order of what information was provided. So in case you needed to watch a video that might have been attached before you take a quiz, you're making sure you get the video link. So definitely check the grades daily. Like I said, this is definitely something you want to stay on top of to make sure that you're doing well with your assignments. If you're not doing well, that's going to be where maybe your teacher's leaving you feedback. They're offering to have a one-on-one session with you, or you're able to come to office hours. So definitely keep track of that. So the other thing that you will do tomorrow will be another Word document assignment, and that's going to require you to take a snip. So at the beginning of the week, I did have students pin the snipping tool that looks like a pair of scissors. This is going to be where it takes a snip, a picture, a little screenshot of a section of your screen, whatever it is that you need to take. And it'll copy it. And then majority of the time, you'll just paste it into your assignment for whatever you're working on. There could be times that you're actually turning in a whole snip as your assignment. So then you want to save this snip into a file in order to upload it. But if you're just taking a snip to copy and paste it into a document, you won't need to save it into a folder because you'll be able to automatically copy it and then paste it in. So I am going to show you how to do that quick because I want you to be aware that if you decide to work ahead on the final assignments, you know how to complete that as well. So I just want to do that with you. All right. So later this week, like I said, tomorrow, you will actually have Module 7 assigned. And Module 7 does have another Word document, and it's called the scavenger hunt. And this assignment, again, is a Word document. So say I'm in completing my final assignments for orientation. I've got the scavenger hunt document. It's the last thing that I need to do. Again, you can either click on the file name, and then it's going to take you to the preview of what it is, and you can click on download. But if you choose to download assignments this way, you do need to remember to close this to get back to the original assignment page. I just highly recommend you click the arrow down button because it's just going to automatically download and pop up. Click on it. That'll automatically open in Word for you. Again, I don't get the enable editing box up on top since I am the creator of this, but I'm going to say I clicked on it. Now it's open for me and I'm able to type on it. So with this document, don't stress out. I did update it last night. It looks like a lot, but it honestly is not. It's basically just going back through what we've done all week, helping to remind you of where to find things and how to access things. So it just tells me that you're going to be asked to take snips of your screen, something that you learned in orientation. Snips may be your entire screen, and that's okay. Or it could just be a little section of a screen. So once you snip something, you can either right click and paste it in, or you can hold down Control V, and that's going to paste your snip right into the document. Another thing is to make sure that if that image is super big, drag one of the corner bubbles down just to shrink it down a little bit so it's not taking up 5 pages. Because we've had that before, that a snip is just so big and it just takes up space. So question 1 says, great job so far. You had to download this document and click enable editing to complete it. But to do so, you must be signed into Word with your school email address. This example shows I'm signed in with my Weavy email. So again, up here, I've got my bubble. I hover over it and I can tell I am signed in with my Weavy email. So for number 1, I want you to take a snip up top showing you're signed into Word with your school email. So 2 ways that you can use the snipping tool. 1, having it pinned down below on your taskbar, you can directly click snip, the snipping tool. It's automatically going to pop up this little box, and all you're going to do is take a plus new or click the plus new button. You may not be able to see my screen darken to take the snip, so I'll walk through those steps. But what's going to happen is my screen is going to darken and I'm going to get a little plus sign. So what I want to do is I'm going to drag and hold my box over what I'm taking a snip of. So once I take a snip, it's going to show me what I took a snip of. And then you can click the double paper icon to copy it. And then I'm going to click back on my Word document. And then I want to put my snip in for number 1. So I make sure my cursor is on number 1. I can either right click on my mouse and then click the clipboard, which is going to be the paste option. And it's going to paste my image in there. Or I can click Control V from my keyboard, and that's going to paste my image in there. Thankfully, it's not super big, so I'm not going to worry about really shrinking it much. It's perfect size. Number 2 says the landing navigation page is the hub for everything. This is how you'll access your calendar, your course, your school email, and more. You may prefer to utilize your Launchpad page, and that's completely okay. Just remember that anytime you click on anything from the Launchpad, it will always open a new web browser tab. So I want you to take a snip of the navigation page that you prefer. I prefer using the landing navigation page. So I'm going to go back to, I'm going to go back to my account. I prefer to use the landing navigation page that has the blue tabs on the left-hand side, only because it's going to allow me to navigate through things pretty seamlessly without having a bunch of tabs open. The only time it's really ever going to open up another tab for me is when I'm clicking into any specific outside resources. So for like this, if I needed to go take STAR testing, you're going to notice it opened up a new tab for me because I went to ClassLink so I could access STAR testing. But I like the landing navigation page again, like I said, because you're just going to be able to click through what you need to for school and not have to worry about a bunch of tabs being open and then getting it kind of cluttered up. So to take a snip, again, you can click the scissors down below and just click the new button, and then that's going to be allowed for me to take a snip. The other way you can take a snip is holding down your shift controlled S key. When I do that, you're going to see on my screen now, because I did the shift control and S key. Now you can see my plus button on here. I'm taking a snip of my calendar, or sorry, the landing navigation page. So you're going to see that I want to take a snip showing that I prefer that landing navigation page. This is just giving me a different view of the snipping tool. And so I've copied my snip. Now I'm going back to my Word document, and then I am going to Control V. And you can see this came in really big, right? It's taking up a whole page. So this is where I click on the image and I minimize it down. And I just flipped it, and I didn't mean to, but I minimize it down, right? Because like I said, at times it's going to either make it super big and you might need to shrink it. So for number 2, you can take a snip of your landing navigation page. Otherwise, if you prefer to use your Launchpad page to get into things, take a snip of your Launchpad. I want to know which you prefer and what works best for you. So again, for this assignment, you're going to take snips. You'll go through and just read each question. I basically lay out what you need to go and click on and what I want you to take a snip of, okay? It's pretty simple explained, but if you do have questions, please reach out and let me know. I do provide a sample example for 1 or 2 of them, just so that you're aware that you're on the correct thing. And then at the end, last question, I just ask if there's anything that you would like to share with us, any questions, concerns, or comments. And then you just want to type your name and the date that you complete it down below. So now I'm done with this assignment. Again, to save an assignment, I'm going to click File, Save As. I want to go to the Browse because I need to open up my File Explorer, and I need to go up on my directory and make sure that I click on Desktop. This is an orientation assignment, so I want to make sure I double click in my orientation folder. And then again, I'm going to rename it. I'm going to rename it Scavenger Hunt by, and then I'm going to put Tara Helmer, because I want to notify myself this is the completed document, plus my teacher is going to be able to see it's my name, and then I'm turning it in for myself. I'm keeping that file the same because I don't want to change the file format. I'm going to save it. Then it's going to save. I'm going to know it's saved because it's got my Scavenger Hunt Tara Helmer up here. I'm now closing out a Word because I don't need it. This assignment will not come back to the course modules because you're taking snips throughout your account. So now I need to make sure I go back to my online learning course and I go back to modules. And then I know this was my final assignment in module 7. So now I'm going back to module 7. Oh, apologize. I'm going back to module 7, and the final assignment is the scavenger hunt. And then that way I can go back in so I can upload it. So again, I'm going to go down and click on the rocket ship. It's going to open up my file explorer. Again, I need to make sure I click on the directory that I saved it in. So it was under desktop. Double click my orientation folder. And then I know this is the assignment scavenger hunt. I'm going to attach it. And then I'm going to submit it. And then again, the next day or whatever, I'm going to look to see if it's been graded yet, and see how I did, or if I need to fix anything on it. So just be aware of that. One of the questions that I do ask is when you're in any tab, doesn't matter what you're clicked on. Say you remember seeing a resource for an assignment. It was like a guide sheet or something, and you wanted to go back to it, but you don't remember which class you saw that in. You can click this history tab, which looks like a clock on the left-hand side. It's going to show I haven't clicked anything because I'm in the student view. But once I leave my view, it's going to show my history tab, and it just does a side pop-out bar. And then it's going to show me everything that I recently clicked into, and what I've done recently. So then that way I could go back to that resource because I wanted to look at something. So this is a great feature to have because with navigating through the main landing page, it's not opening a bazillion tabs for you. This is going to show you your history. So if you're like, I was reading something, but I had to get to class, I want to go back to it. I could just go and click right back on what it was. It's going to take me back to that screen, and then I can go back to finishing what I was doing. So that history tab is really nice. So that's how to complete an assignment, use the snipping tool. I know that's a lot of information, so I apologize. But I'm hoping that helps you guys and sets you up for doing the assignments. I know that we went over this earlier in the week. I'm just going to do it as a refresher, but anytime that you may have trouble getting into a live class or an assignment isn't opening up, you're getting like an error message, always clear your cache and cookies first. I do highly recommend that if you're clearing your cache and cookies, after you clear, and just make sure you're clearing the cache and cookies only. Make sure that you uncheck any browsing downloads or history, especially uncheck any saved passwords. If you've got any auto-saved information, uncheck that box first before clicking delete data history. But once you do that, I prefer that you close out of all the browsers, everything that you're in, and restart your computer. I know it's an extra step, but honestly, it helps everything sync back up. So then that way, hopefully you can get back in and things function as they should. So anytime you come across an issue, that's kind of the go-to. Start with clearing your cache and cookies first. Because with being an online school, we get a lot of junk that gets cluttered up, and then it makes things get a little wonky. So every once in a while, we have to do that. If you do clear cache and cookies, or you're struggling to get your mic or camera working, or if you've got a black screen, lines on your screen, you can't type with your keyboard. These are some major tech issues, and you will need to call the tech support right away, only because staff can do some tips and tricks here to make things work. But ultimately, if there's a really big problem with the school laptop, we're not going to be able to fix it. So definitely be aware of how to contact tech support if and when you need to, but always reach out to staff and ask for whatever you need help with. If we can't do it, again, we may refer you on. For today, we do not have another live class today. I did cancel the 10:30 session as I have a personal appointment to go watch my daughter's track meet. So for today, your assigned homework is going to be Module 5. You'll take that orientation quiz, do the About Me document, and then there is a discussion post in there as well that I want you to complete. And then Module 6 has a class recording about an asynchronous class, and then a video or a quiz to go along with it. That's going to give you a taste of today of how you would do an asynchronous course. Asynchronous is when we're still in school, but you don't have live classes, but you may have a recording you need to watch, or you need to work on the homework yourself. So just be aware of that. And then I do want to show you really quick that discussion post. So in Module 5, you're going to go in, that last assignment is going to be the trip of a lifetime for Module 5. I just want to give you a look ahead. There are times that students don't see the full directions. So I want to make sure you're aware of this. So when you go to the discussion post, you should be able to see all of the directions right here. If you don't see the directions, there could be like a box with an arrow button next to it. Click on that. That then is going to open up the full discussion post so that way you can read exactly what you need to do. This is just asking you to share with me where you'd want to go if you had an all-paid trip anywhere in the world. In order to get a text box to post, you've got to click reply. That's going to open up your paragraph text box. You're going to type your answer in here, and then in order to post and submit it, you're going to click reply again. In classrooms, you will be asked to communicate with other students. You're going to be asked to comment on another student's posting as part of getting the full points for the assignment. For this, you only need to post your response for the discussion. I'm not asking you to go back and comment on other students at this time. If you want to, great. That shows great interaction and how a discussion post for class will work, but you're not required to go and reply to a bunch of students for it. But I do want you to go through the feed and look at what everybody else has shared. And then if you feel like you want to comment on it, perfect. So just wanted to let you know that that discussion post is also there as well. Again, we're not going to have any more classes for the rest of the day. You do need to currently make sure that you've got modules 1, 2, 4, 5, and 6 done by the end of today. Module 1 and 2 is stuff we've gone over the first 2 days. Module 3 is the STAR testing. If you weren't here yesterday for STAR testing, we will get you caught up with that tomorrow. And then module 4 was working with Ms. Brinkman for Zello. So if you didn't finish those Zello, go in and watch and read the information from her class to complete that. But then today's assigned homework is going to be module 5 and module 6. We do not have an 8:50 class tomorrow morning, but we are back at 10:30. So tomorrow you will have class 10:30 to noon, and you are required to be there the hour and a half unless I dismiss you early. So you guys, let me know if you have any last minute questions. Otherwise, you are all free to go. Enjoy your day. Make sure that you get all the work completed, and then reach out to me if you've got questions. Send me an email, a text, an inbox message, and I'll get back to you. Okay?